Hi everyone, welcome back to Tuesday Tips with Cris. This is Cris here with all the tips and tricks to help you level up. Join me this week on tips on how to negotiate your salary. Don't forget to stay up to date with all my tips and tricks, to go ahead and click subscribe. And for more information, make sure you visit my blog at www.tuesdaytipswithcris.com. I've been working since I was 16 years old, and the very first time that I negotiated my salary was not until I was 32. Now, at the time, I was working in Thailand, and it was around the time that I was negotiating my new contract. My boss had offered me about 6% increase, which it would have been fantastic if I had in fact stayed doing the duties that I was doing and didn't accept any new responsibilities. However, that was not the case. So I was being asked to not only take on supervisory, but also take on specialized classes. So instead of just teaching English, I was teaching math and science. Knowing other teachers, specialized foreign teachers, I knew that their salaries were significantly higher than what was being offered to me. I also had been there for a couple of years already. So when I let them know that, well, this school actually pays this much for a teacher doing what I'm doing, my boss kind of looked at me and was like, we'll see. 2 days later, he brought me into his office and showed me my new contract that had not a 6% increase, but a 33% salary increase. That day, I learned 3 things. 1, companies really be out here lowballing salary offers. 2, I can be recognized for my value if I also recognize it. And 3, I will never accept a first offer ever again. So, how can you convince your boss or that new company to give you what you're worth? My first tip for you is to do your research. Make sure you research what the current industry average is for an employee in your role with your level of expertise. You want to make sure that not only do you look at what your industry is paying, but what the competitors for that company are paying. You want to showcase your value to justify your salary request. If, for example, you're trying to negotiate a salary increase for a job that you've been doing for maybe a year or 2 years, what you need to have done is throughout that time have kept track of all the additional responsibilities and duties that you've undertaken that were outside your job description. If you can clearly show how much more you've done than what was initially expected of you, you can get some leeway with your request. Do keep in mind that salary negotiations are more than just about your base salary. Now, if you're getting just, maybe a minimal salary increase, but your benefits and perks really contribute to your take-home pay, then, it is up to you whether or not you want to do a counter offer if you're applying for a new position, or if you're trying to negotiate your current salary at your current employer. Benefits and perks really play into what you're taking home in terms of net pay. On that note, you want to make sure that the salary increase you're requesting or being offered is significant, because remember that with more money comes more problems. And by problems, I mean taxes. So if you're only being offered a 1% increase, you might think, oh, my gross pay is going to go up by this amount of money. You have to consider that because it went up, so did your taxes. Case in point, I had a situation with me where I wasn't at a company for a full year, so I wasn't eligible for the 3 to 5% increase that they were offering that year. Instead, they thought they were doing me a favor by offering me a 1% increase. When I saw my first check after the increase and realized that I was actually taking home $150 less per pay period because that money is now going into taxes, I was not very happy. They could have kept their 1% increase and I would have waited until I qualified for the hire. And finally, do not sell yourself short. When you're negotiating a salary and you're producing a counter offer to an initial one, always aim high, as high as you can, within reason. You wanna make sure that you have went ahead and done your research on the industry average. And when you're making your counter offer, go for the higher end. make sure that you have an acceptance range. It's basically what the minimum salary is that you're willing to accept. What is the minimum offer you're willing to accept? And if they meet that or slightly above, then you went ahead and negotiated a really good salary. And those are my tips for you this week. Make sure you join me next time where we talk about maximizing your skills. So if you want to upskill yourself, stay tuned. I got you. See you next time.